Hey, what's up? Today you're about to see one of the most beautiful chess games ever played with some of the most unusual and beautiful sacrifices. The white player is Otis Field, and that's why this game was called the Field of Horror, by the way. And the black player is Oscar Tanner. It's a really remarkable game, and part of the way that I love about this game is the fact that the players are ordinary players. They're decent players, but they're not world champs, and they're nowhere close. And nevertheless, these ordinary folks manage to play this super brilliant game. Every move of the game is confirmed by Stockfish. It's according to the first line of Stockfish, and at some point, even the Stockfish got excited about what's going on in the game. I'm gonna show it to you. Alright, so white played knight f3, knight c6, so far just standard opening moves, bishop c4, knight f6, the two knights game, and white goes knight g5, starting this potential right liver attack against the f7 pawns. You really need to know how to deal with this if you're playing the similar opening moves as black. Here, if you aren't familiar with the opening theory, I would recommend that you check out my video where I elaborate on one of the best opening traps for black, where black can respond with a shocking counter blow, knight takes e4, so you may check this out later if you aren't familiar with it. But in the game, black chosen the main move, pawn d5, which just proved by the theory, and after pawn takes, the key point for black here is not to recapture, because that leads to a lot of troubles for black. White can start this right liver attack actually by taking with the knight over here, and after king takes, there is queen f3, the key point of the white's plan, with a double attack to the king as well as the knight, and black is in trouble. So that's what black should stay away from. So let's take a move back here. That's why in the game black played another move. Instead of taking over here on d5, black first played the in-between move knight a5, attacking the bishop. So aiming to push the bishop back, and once the bishop goes away, black will be able to recapture that pawn on d5. White played pawn d3, the move which looks solid, just solidifying the white's position in the middle of the board, but in reality the theory does not love this move because black has a number of active opportunities here. For instance, h6, kicking the knight back, and after knight f3, black continues to push pawn e4. Now white cannot recapture here on e4, because in that case, the bishop on c4 will be left undefended, and therefore black will just pick up the bishop, so white cannot do that, and that's why instead of picking the pawn, white is at the crossroad of what to do, and he decided to play queen e2, the move which looks pretty strong as it pins the pawn, and therefore white potentially is ready to actually capture it on the next move with their own pawn. That's why black initiated the trade on c4, so that now, at least there is no danger for black. Black goes bishop c5. So far it's still theory. Bishop c5 is a great move. First of all, it brings the bishop out, which is always a good thing to do, and secondly, it controls this d4 square so that the white's knight can now run away there. Anyway, so far the pawn is pinned anyway, so black is not really threatening to pin to take the knight there yet. That's why white just castled, black castled as well. And now when the king moved to the corner, now the pawn is free to capture the knight, therefore white has to move it, and they played knight d2. Black played another natural looking move, bishop g4, hitting the queen. The only square for the queen to retreat would be queen e1, which is slightly awkward, but still safe for the queen. And here's where some real fun begins of this game, so let's get ready to it. Now, what would you play here if you were playing black? That's an interesting question, really. Because, I mean, I'm pretty sure that a lot of players here would notice that the pawn on e4 is being attacked twice, the queen and the knight, and therefore black would probably consider defending the pawn somehow. Maybe queen e7, or maybe rook e8, something like that. In the game, just a little spoiler, black played another move, black played queen d7. But it's interesting that even Stockfish, that usually shows you the best move almost instantaneously, in this case has doubts actually. It still considers like whether it's rook e8 or queen d7 or something else, so the Stockfish has doubts. Let me show it to you. Okay, so just here you can see over there in the top right corner that I've opened this little window with Stockfish and the evaluation as well as the moves. You can see that instantaneously it started having doubts between queen d7 or rook e8, and the evaluation that he gave it initially is almost identical. Now let's hit go and let's see how Stockfish will try to handle that. So it still thinks, okay, maybe queen d7 or rook e8, and after some more thinking, it still has doubts. It still says basically both moves are decent, and yeah, it still considers them both quite for some time. It still gives queen d7 a little bit of the upper hand, but nevertheless it still considers both of the moves to be great. And it's actually interesting because, again, when computer has doubts, it's a rare sign. Usually computer is sure which move is the best. And this position, queen d7, again, just a spoiler, is the best move. And now you see it put rook e8 on top, so after some calculation it decided that rook e8 is actually better. So now it keeps calculating So now it gives rook e8 better. Okay, queen d7 again. So it's interesting how computer hesitates, almost like a human being thinking, oh no, maybe this one, maybe the one. Oh, I'm not sure. Let me try that again. It keeps switching back and forth between the moves. All right, relax, dude. Let's play. Oh, it again says rook e8 is best. Now let's play queen d7, the move which was playing in the game, interestingly enough. So again, it's just amazing how an ordinary player who, while playing this game as black, could find so deep and complex moves, because initially it seems like black is just blundering this pawn on e4. But it's dangerous because that would open up lines for the black's attack, so after a little consideration, white played actually another move, knight b3. Now, just look at this area once again. Initially, Stockfish thinks bishop d6 rocks, because the bishop being attacked, so it needs to move it backward. But after some thinking, it will find the proper move. It's not that easy to find it, so you see, again, even for Stockfish, it takes time. It cannot find the best move. So let's wait. Let's give time a little bit for Stockfish. You may try it yourself as well. Let's see whether your Stockfish could be faster. So Stockfish still believes bishop d6, and finally found bishop f3. It gives minus 0.8 evaluation. And now it's really cool to see how Stockfish got pumped up about the move. It gets excited. Initially, I think bishop f3 is just one of the candidate moves. It again keeps switching back and forth between bishop f3 and bishop d6, but then it will see the combination and it will really get excited. So I love that. You see this minus 3.2. The evaluation starts to skyrocket. It's where Stockfish really gets excited about the move and thinks, oh, I found this combination, so wonderful. And after a little while, if we'll add Stockfish thinks for a little bit further, it'll start giving crazy evaluations saying that black's completely winning. So yeah, I mean, I think that Stockfish thinks that way, exactly the way I described it. Just kidding. Anyway, it's always cool to see how computer can get excited about a move after a little consideration, just like we humans do. Anyway, let's close it now and let's see what happened in the game. Now, the situation remains to be tense. Even though black found this crushing with bishop f3, it's still not over. White has a lot of defensive resources here. Well, first of all, let's figure out why capturing one of the black's bishops is bad for white. Capturing the bishop on c5 loses in a more or less standard way. Black goes queen g4 now, preparing queen takes g2 checkmate. So the only solution for white would be pushing the pawn forward, but then all these light squares are weak, and black can take advantage of that by playing queen h3 and then sneak into g2. Queen g2 checkmate is unstoppable. Therefore, we can easily see that that line is not a good thing for white. Okay, I moved it back a couple moves. Now, we know that this move does not work for white. What if white decides to capture over here on f3? Well, it's pretty much always a bad decision, because if black simply recaptures, now we can see that the white skin is exposed and the queen is ready to go there on g4, maybe h3, and deliver the same checkmate on g2 square. So that's why allowing black to have that pawn on f3 will usually be just losing for white, because again, black can finish it off with a checkmate within just a couple of moves. So that's why taking one of the bishops is not a good option. But nevertheless, let's play back to the position before the sacrifice. Now we know that capturing bishops is not good for white, but white played a really good looking move, bishop f4. The idea here is that white brings this bishop closer to the king so that he can defend it. Black tried queen g4 anyway, but white responded with bishop g3, and at this point actually it feels like the black's attack is kind of stopped, because the white's bishop here on g3 really solidifies the entire position, kind of locks it, and now it's totally unclear how black would proceed further. You may try to pause the video and think about it yourself, but I gotta say that it's quite a high-level combination. I mean, yeah, it's definitely not easy to find it, because, again, the bishop on c5 is hanging. Even though black managed to put their bishop on f3, they doesn't have, like, black is not threatening really anything, right? White's position is very well defended. But black played knight h5, just letting white capture the bishop for seemingly no big reason, so white did. And black played knight f4, just calmly bringing one more piece closer to the king. And again, even though black managed to create a threat to the pawn on g2, it's still not a checkmating threat. It's just capturing possibly one of the pawns. So yeah, it's absolutely unclear why this would be winning for black. So white responded knight takes e4, because it looks like, okay, even if black takes here on g2 with one of their minor pieces, yeah, it's just a pawn. It's no big deal for white, right? White is ahead in material so much. So at this point, still looks unclear how black would possibly justify all the previous sacrifices that they did, but there is a move which I believe Stockfish found after quite a considerable thinking, and after that it got excited because it figured out that black's winning. And the move is, yeah, again, you may try to pause the video and find it yourself, because you already know that there is a winning combination here, but in real game it's definitely hard to find a move like that. It's queen h3. Black keeps playing the give up chess, giving up a piece at every turn. This really remarkable game kind of reminds me of Mikhail Tal's best games, where he keeps pushing, keeps sacrificing. By the way, just not too long ago I published a video where Mikhail Tal had these consecutive sacrifices, but that was even perhaps less impressive than this one, so I'm really amazed at this performance. Now Black gives away the queen, almost the final piece that Black has here in the attack, and after White captures, because what else, there is knight takes h3 checkmate. Very nice checkmate, even though some may say that, well, in tactical puzzles you see positions like that pretty often. Maybe, yeah, in tactical puzzles, yeah, but how often did you deliver a checkmate like that in your real life game? I mean, for most players, the answer would be never. It's a very rare thing where a knight and a bishop would deliver a checkmate and would defeat the entire White's army. Just look at the number of defenders and the number of attackers Black has. Just with 2 final pieces, Black managed to deliver these elegant checkmate. So that's clearly one of the best attacks they saw. And again, what's remarkable is that every move of this game, from move 1 to the last move of this game, is completely confirmed by Stockfish, which is something that even Magnus Carlsen can rarely achieve, but in this game, an ordinary guy could play such a perfect attack. And here's the puzzle of the day. It is White to move, and if you can find the winning variation, please write it down in the comments below. In case you couldn't find it, then don't worry, as always, all the materials that I mentioned throughout this video will be in the description below the video, as well as the PGNs with games, as well as the answer to this solution. Or you may just scroll down to comments and somebody will surely find the solution there. Alright, that was, by the way, this position could happen in the game between Alekhine playing White against Oscar Tanner, the same guy who played this brilliant game we just analyzed. Anyway, let's move on. Now you may click the link over there to watch the video that I mentioned previously that shows you a powerful gambit of how you can treat the same opening line that we analyzed in the game that we discussed today. Also, you may click out there and check out my free masterclass so that you can know how to speed up your chess progress within the next 30 days. Thank you for watching, stay tuned, and I'll talk to you soon.